Well, late drama, Matt, just a few minutes before the kick-off. The players were finishing their warm-up, and then suddenly we noticed Gabriel Martinelli of Arsenal on the ground in tears. I mean, he really has had some bad luck with injuries.
He has. It's a sad picture, and I'm distraught for him, really. There's nothing more frustrating when you're a young player, especially, and coming back and trying to get fit, and you're picking up these niggly injuries. So really disappointed for him, and I was really looking forward to seeing him play.
It looked like it might have been an ankle injury, ankle ligament perhaps.
It looked like a roll or something with the ankle. He clearly looked in pain, and as you mentioned, pretty upset about it.
Mikel Arteta there with a smile on his face. We've seen that a little more in the last week or two. And Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who was the star man, of course, for Arsenal when they won the Cup last season. 2 goals in the final, 2 in the semi-final as well. But he hasn't really found his shooting boots in the current season so far. As the players and officials from both sides take a knee ahead of kick-off. There is no room for racism, point reiterated time and time again by the players in the English game. And it is Newcastle United in their traditional black and white striped shirts who get the match underway at the Emirates Stadium. Sadly, of course, still an empty stadium, and likely to be so for a little while yet. Across England with the latest lockdown measures. But hopefully we will have an excellent match between these two sides. A lot of FA Cup pedigree between them, but particularly Arsenal, Matt. I mean, they really have sort of reaffirmed their reputation as England's premier domestic cup specialists, haven't they, in recent years?
I mean, just the sheer fact that they won it last season out of nowhere just shows you that they've got a real, almost touch of gold in this competition.
Well, they're on the attack early here as well, looking to make the early breakthrough, and first touch of the ball for Dubravka in the Newcastle goal, and Reece Nelson getting involved in the action straight away. About 15 minutes ago, he was expecting to be sitting on the bench.
Yeah, it's a nice early touch from him, just to get on the ball and like you say, find your feet, find your rhythm. Mentally, you're not expecting to play, but you always have to be ready, and cuts inside, gets a shot off, but it's not the best strike in the world, and pretty comfortable for Dubravka.
Well, he'll be out to try and make his mark, won't he, Reece Nelson? One of a good many promising young players that Arsenal have got looking to make a mark. He's only been in the Premier League matchday squad a couple of times this season, but he did score the only goal in the 3rd round last year when Arsenal beat Leeds United. Oh, an early problem perhaps for Willian. Let's hope that he's able to run that one off. Here's Kieran Clark for Newcastle. By the way, John Joe Shelvey and Callum Wilson were both withdrawn from the squad today for what the club are describing as precautionary reasons. They haven't elaborated any more than that, only to say that they are hopeful that both players would be available for their next Premier League match, which is against Sheffield United on Tuesday. Here's Nicola Pepe now for Arsenal, away from Joe Linton. Pepe with the shot, and a couple of shots from the home side in the opening 2 minutes.
Yeah, I like the way Arsenal have started. Good positivity, driving at defenders. Pepe there looking to commit the Newcastle defenders and get a shot off. Did it trouble Dubravka? No, it didn't, but it's just a little sign of intent, and hopefully Arsenal can carry that on.
Lay off by Joe Linton. Here's Carroll. It was a little short, but Joe Willock beaten in the challenge. Arsenal looking for an offside call. There's Miguel Almiron. Just nudges it infield, collected by Joe Linton. He very quickly found himself surrounded by red and white shirted Arsenal defenders.
Good pressing from Arsenal, wasn't it? Just aware of that second ball, aware of the danger on the edge of the box, and managed to get enough players in and around the ball.
Well, he'll be hoping that his team can perform rather better today in the 3rd round of the FA Cup than they did in the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup, the EFL Cup, when they put out a strong team, Newcastle, but it didn't work out for them against Brentford.
No, it didn't work out at all, and be really disappointed with that performance. As he's mentioned pre-match, that the cup competitions for Newcastle really are a lifeline, especially for the supporters, to have that type of possibility of winning a trophy or that type of excitement. So there's a lot on this game for Steve Bruce.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? A club like Newcastle, yeah. The FA Cup, one of 2 realistic chances of winning something every season. It's a comfortable one for Bernd Leno. But although they've won the Cup 6 times over the years, their recent record is dreadful, actually, in the FA Cup. They've failed to get past the 4th round in 12 of the last 13 seasons, which, for a club like Newcastle, I'm sure their supporters would feel is nowhere near good enough.
Nowhere near, and it's a hugely supported, really strongly supported, passionate supporters, and they'll something like a cup run really does, carry a lot of weight with that group of fans.
We got to the quarter-final last season, but were beaten 2-0 by Manchester City. Here's Joe Willock now for Arsenal. El Neni, who's been getting a decent run more often than not lately in the starting 11. Poor ball forward there by Pablo Mari. This is Hayden. He's slotting in at the back, adding to the defensive numbers. David Luiz now forward. Little layoff from Aubameyang. Dummett challenged or challenging in trying to halt Arsenal's advances. And it is Nicola Pepe, the player, picking himself up off the turf.
Just too quick for him here. Pepe, it was a loose ball. Dummett knew straight away he was never going to get there and just leant into him, conceded the foul.
He's got his hands full today, hasn't he, Dummett, Matt? Because, I mean, he's an experienced player, but he's recovered from a ruptured Achilles this season. He's only played one match all season before today. Yeah,
it's going to be tough. I mean, as you mentioned, it looks like there's 3 at the back, so he'll get a little bit more cover with 3 centre-backs. Maybe that's there just to help that situation, with Hayden dropping in on that right-hand side of the 3.
Well, they're all back now, defending this one.
It may be more than a back 3 at times.
So Willian and David Luiz and Pepe, the 3 Arsenal players near the ball. Chris Kavanagh, the referee, happy. Away we go, and it is Willian who strikes it, and it's not one of his better efforts.
I'm not sure if he was trying to go under the wall there or over it. It kind of went mid-wall. It looked like he was shaping up to hit it underneath, but it's quite far out to take on that free kick as a right footer.
Do you think Mikel Arteta will feel that Arsenal have perhaps turned the corner in terms of their season after their last 3 matches?
I don't think he would jump that far ahead. I think he'd be really impressed with, conceding 1 goal in the last 3 games. I think that was really important to defensively become solid, and they've looked a bit more of a goal threat. So I think it steps in the right direction, but he'll know that there's plenty more work to do.
Foul by David Luiz. They have created more opportunities. They've looked better going forward in the last 2 or 3 games, but I suppose we should counter that by noting that 2 of the 3 wins have come against teams nearer the bottom of the table.
Yeah, and also you look at young players like Saka, Emile Smith Rowe, who for me has been absolutely outstanding in the last 3 matches. Have really contributed to the attacking flair and creativity of Arsenal.
He's on, playing it into the penalty area. Joelinton getting in ahead of El Neni. By Jeff Hendrick, way off the head of Marie. This is Clark. Now Dummett. Newcastle without a win in 6. Middle of December, their last victory against West Bromwich Albion. Neil Kraft getting a game for Newcastle today as well, cut out by Pablo Mari. Andy Carroll regains possession. Back with Clark. First time from Dummett into Joelinton. This is a bit better from Newcastle. Hendrick, Almiron, now via Joelinton. Dummett, Clark sends that swirler in, just a sort of delivery that Andy Carroll likes. Hendrick, a little spell of possession here from the visiting side. Again, they're looking for Carroll. And Aubameyang flicks it away and finds Willian, who's got Nelson ahead of him here. And Nelson was completely taken out of the game there by Jamal Lascelles. And on his return to the side, his first major contribution is to upend his opponent and have his name taken by the referee.
Well, it's a shocking tackle from Lascelles. Arsenal on the counter-attack after a really good piece of pressure from Newcastle. When you see that slow motion, it really is a poor tackle. It's a good job that Reece Nelson is up in the air. He's not grounded.
Matt, there's late and there's late, isn't there?
Yeah, that was the late tackle, and he's got away with a yellow card. He kind of shrugged it off, but he's now sitting on that yellow card for the rest of the game, which is the problem for Lascelles.
Yeah, particularly with the way Arsenal like to run at defences.
For sure.
With their tricky play, and talking of tricky play, Kieran Tierney just laying the ball off. An outstanding individual effort from him at West Bromwich Albion last weekend on the left-hand side, created the opportunity for himself and finished it off with a glorious strike into the far corner of the net. Here come Arsenal with Nelson, and it just spun away off his boot. Let's go back to Tierney for a moment there. I spoke to Bukayo Saka after him. He said, well, we've never even seen him do anything like that in training. We don't know where that came from.
Well, you saw his celebration as well. He was pumped after that, and I think it was that intent and that intensity that he showed. I mean, I think he's got a great attitude, and I think that's a key part of the signing for Arsenal. He's a real honest, hard-working lad with a solid attitude, and at the moment Arsenal need that type in the squad, and he certainly is that, Kieran Tierney.
Pepe in there ahead of Carroll. Clark tried to sweep it away, but Nicola Pepe was in there. Takes the return from Aubameyang. Faced by Lascelles. Clark digs it out. And Arsenal will have the throw, which Pablo Mari will take. Some discussion, I think, from among home supporters as to quite what they would do in goal today, whether they would just go with Bernd Leno, or perhaps whether Alex Runarsson might have had an opportunity. Did in the Carabao Cup not so long ago, conceded 4 here to Manchester City, but he'd done okay in 4 of the Europa League matches.
Yeah, I think it was a tough call, but the FA Cup's hugely important to Arsenal, and this, it's an all-Premiership tie. Newcastle are a decent side, and I feel that
no surprise with this outcome.
No, you look at Mikel Arteta and think that he's made a really sensible choice, in my view. Yeah,
Runarsson is on the bench for Arsenal to date. Matt Macey, one of their other goalkeepers, has moved to Hibs in Scotland this week, so he's no longer at the club. Almiron for Newcastle, cut out by Marie. He was out for a long time as well, recently returned to the team after injuring his ankle when the Premier League resumed in June. Actually, it's only the last 3 or 4 games that he's been back.
It was at Tottenham, wasn't he? Was it the game?
Manchester City.
Manchester City, that was it. It was a big game, and he went off quite early on. I think David Luiz had to come on, didn't he? And didn't have a great...
And then he went off again.
No, he didn't have a great restart.
Nearly 12 minutes in, and Newcastle actually have had a reasonable share of the play so far.
Well, it's been a feature of Arsenal as well, which I think is why they've had better results, and they've not been obsessed with having the ball all the time, and they're just far more clinical and a bit more direct, which when you look at the pace and the attacking quality they have in the team, it probably suits them. So they'll want Newcastle to have possession, come onto them, so they can hit them on the counter-attack.
Here's Tierney. Nelson on the outside. Willian nearby. David Luiz, who'd only made 2 appearances in the last 7 in the Premier League since that nasty clash of heads with Raul Jimenez of Wolves, who continues to recover. Here's El Neni. Now Tierney. Good burst from Kieran Tierney. And Cedric racing forward, but the whistle had long blown the flag up.
It's a little taster of that tenacity that Kieran Tierney has at the moment in an attacking sense. Really like it. He's just half a yard offside, but still a lot to do. He's only got one thing in mind, and that is just to be aggressive and try and get the other side of the Newcastle defender, and he did it brilliantly, and he's got the ability to pick a pass as well. That's what I like of it. He gets his head up, and he doesn't just smash it across the goal. He tries to pick people out.
Cedric, the other full-back, we just saw him there. He's only played for 5 minutes in the Premier League this season. Literally 5 minutes in one game against his old club Southampton. Steve Bruce, tough task for him and his team in this early evening kick-off in the 3rd round of the Emirates FA Cup. Have come in for some criticism, haven't they, Newcastle, and Steve Bruce as well, for the way that they've played. There's been a little bit of that in the last month or so.
He's had a lot of that to deal with right from the off. I mean, from the moment the appointment was announced, he had a lot of doubters, a lot of negativity around that decision in the club, and he came through it, in fairness to him, and I think he's through the other side. But now he's labouring again in the style isn't great to watch, and I think that's the biggest complaint from a lot of the Newcastle fans.
He maintains his remit to keep them in the Premier League. Dominic couldn't find a way through. He scored 1 goal in the last 4 matches they've played. Can they find a way past this Arsenal defence? This is Kieran Clark. Arsenal, we mentioned their outstanding record in the FA Cup, the current holders, 7 times they've won it since the turn of the millennium. The only elimination they've had from the 3rd round of the Cup in the last 24 seasons actually came the last time they entered the competition as the holders. 4-2 defeat at Nottingham Forest 3 years ago. So in terms of getting out of the 3rd round, been outstanding.
98 was my first year at the club, and we managed to beat Newcastle in the final that year, and I remember that cup final really well. Nicola Pepe scoring.
Yeah. I remember it too, because I was working for the BBC at the time, and the job that I had reporting meant that I was sitting on the grass behind one of the goals, and I could hear the ball as it hit the net when Anelka scored. That's the closest I'll ever be to the pitch in an FA Cup final.
You can't get much closer unless you're on it.
Exactly. Yeah, just sitting on a little box behind the goal, watching the match. Well, Cedric, the latest player to have a little bit of an issue. We noticed a few moments ago that he was on the ground, just got his, well, you could see there, just got his foot caught in the turf.
Yeah, he got it caught underneath him. Looks to be okay and carry on, but those ones definitely can tweak the ankle ligaments.
Those moments can be so frustrating. I mean, Cedric, he's been sitting on the sidelines all season pretty much. He's played in most of the Europa League games, but he hasn't had a look in the Premier League. He gets a chance today, and then very nearly it was over inside quarter of an hour there.
It's one of the hardest things maybe when you haven't played for a while, is getting your body up to speed, and it's not so much about fitness, it's just about the neurological system, your body being sharp enough and reactive enough to cope with the match speed that this is. And sometimes your body needs a little bit of time to adjust, and you don't get that time.
Hayden away to the far side. There's Kraft back into Hendrick. It's another one who's not played so much lately, Jeff Hendrick, the player they signed from Burnley last summer. Made a good start. He scored in the opening match of the season when they won at West Ham, but hasn't featured in the last 4 matches in the league before today. He's been on the outside looking in a little bit. This is Pablo Mari. Tierney available over on the far side of the pitch. Ruiz going long, and Nicola Pepe has the pace to keep the ball in play, having taken the sting out of the initial ball forward. Cedric's delivery. This is Willian. Keeps it away from Almiron. Now Nelson. El Neni. Pepe going in short, and Willock tries to keep it moving, but just runs out of space.
I don't think Willock was going to take that touch. Initially, I thought he was looking to try and almost feint and then roll it, but he decided to take the ball with him, and the touch was nowhere near soft enough. But Newcastle really packing that box out. The moment Arsenal have control possession outside the box, there's nearly every man behind the ball. It's going to be very hard for Arsenal to break that down.
Willock there getting the better of Andy Carroll in the air. And Lascelles to Hayden. Dubravka had to chase a little bit there.
The best pass back from Hayden. I'm sure he's letting him know now. Gives him the thumbs up,
Yeah.
but thanks for that one.
Yeah. Cheers, mates. Dubravka will be relieved to be getting a game. He's been on the bench the last couple. He's going to have to bide his time, possibly, to get back in the starting 11.
Hayden's just checking he was on his toes, making him aware. Darlow's done very well in stepping in for him, hasn't he? I know
Yes, very much
Dubravka
so.
was a key performer.
Oh, look at this now as Joe Linton skips away. He's got Andy Carroll to his left. Joe Linton picks out Carroll. Arsenal now getting plenty back, and the deflection is off Louise. Hendrick underneath it. Almiron gets there. They're all claiming offside, and finally the flag goes up. Well, for a moment there, that looked very promising for Newcastle.
That was a promising situation. There just wasn't that much conviction in Joe Linton once he got the wrong side. Thought he was very slow in approaching it and making his mind up. OK, he only had Carroll wide initially, but the ball comes to him a little bit too slowly, and David Luiz can just get out and get a block in, and from then on Newcastle lost the momentum.
Arsenal trying to sweep forward from the other end of the pitch. It strikes Lascelles. Williams claiming a handball, but referee had a clear view and it was point blank range, and Paul Dummett has some space now. Joe Linton nearby. Longstaff finding Dummett. Craft into Joe Linton, who is blocked off. Not unfairly, says Chris Kavanagh, and El Neni will bring it away for Arsenal. Tierney. This is Willock. Cedric supporting Pepe if he needs him. And the ball just a little too much on that as Reece Nelson raced forward towards the far post.
I think that ball really has been on so far in this game, though, with Pepe just stepping inside. He can float the right type of cross into that back post. Nelson's arrived a couple of times, once didn't control it. That time was a little bit far ahead of him, but that looks to be a decent option for Arsenal.
What do you make of the contribution of Nicola Pepe? Of course, it's not his fault that they paid so much money for him a couple of years ago.
No,
and he clearly has ability, obviously.
Sure, it's an inflated price, and I don't think he's the finished, polished article, which the price would suggest that you should be buying, I feel. But he's got some potential, he's got a lot of raw talent. You know, the consistency of him and his decision-making and technical quality is a question mark. But, you know, I think he can be a threat, he can be a problem, so they've got to persevere and work with him.
Aubameyang, 5 goals he's scored so far this season. '29 last season. A little bit thin on the ground for a while. He's looked out of sorts, hasn't he, for a while now. I mean, Lacazette has come back into form in recent matches, but still waiting for that from the captain.
Since the start of the season, you know, the finish to last season, I mean, he was just absolutely outstanding. There was nothing that he couldn't do. He was just on unbelievable form, and you know, perhaps that is false to expect that all the time, but there certainly has been a significant drop-off, and something that they'll be working hard to correct, I'm sure.
Yeah, he did look I thought he looked quite a frustrated figure at West Brom, even when things were going well for the team as a whole in the last match.
Certainly you have to feel that something, you know, psychologically or in terms of the performance levels or whatever it may be, there is a drop-off and it is noticeable. And I think the trouble is, once these things are noticeable, if you don't sort it out, it just gets worse and worse. So I think he has turned a bit of a corner, but there's plenty more to come from him, as we know.
Ball just bouncing off Joe Linton a little bit there as Pepe tries to come away with it. He's challenged by Lascelles, and Cedric happy to see it go bouncing beyond the byline. Well, we're a quarter of the way through the match, and I suppose from Steve Bruce's point of view, so far so good. His team haven't conceded too many opportunities for Arsenal.
No, I mean, it's been a pretty steady performance from them. They've had a couple of little flurries themselves, but he's set his team up to be difficult to beat, no doubt. He'll want, you know, the back three and the wing-backs to do their job and make life difficult for Arsenal. And then after that, they can see what happens. They've got Andy Carroll on the pitch and good players in the I'm sure set pieces will be a big thing in Steve Bruce's mind here.
Stay in the game till half-time, then see where we are after that.
I think so. I think that's probably the mindset that he's had before the game.
Here comes Aubameyang now. Arsenal breaking quickly. Excellent save by Dubravka. Danger still not cleared. It's Willian now. And it is shanked over the top of the crossbar. But Arsenal quick to break. And Dubravka called into serious action for the first time in the game.
That's that pace with Aubameyang over the top. He's always that threat in behind. It's an early free kick. Looks just about onside, very, very tight. But as he comes in on goal, he looks to try and bend this with his right foot. It's a tight angle. He looks to try and hit it across the goal. It's a little bit straight, but I cannot understand why Willian's gone onto his left foot here. Really felt that trying to come inside would have probably been the better option and try and open the goal up. It's a good save from Dubravka.
Joe Willock on the ground, I think. Yeah. Collision with Newcastle's number 7. Easily done.
Well, Joe Willock's got that unenviable role this evening of a centre-back telling the midfielder to you sit in front and you compete with Andy Carroll and I'll drop off and just pick up the flick-ons. And that seems to have been what's happening, but it's only a matter of time. The way he plays and the way Andy Carroll likes to attack the ball, he does run across defenders in the elbow or the arm. Tends to swing in your face at times. I've been on the receiving end of that. Just gets up early and catches him with the top of his elbow. But he loves to do that, Carroll. He loves to come across the face of you and try and win the ball.
Did you prefer the knowing you were going to have the physical duel of certain players, or did you prefer coming up against the technical players, more technical players?
They both pose different problems. I think maybe knowing you can get yourself up for that fight, and like you say, David,
you know what you're going to get, certainly.
You know what you're getting. Sometimes the players that drift in and out of the game, you think 20 minutes has gone by, I haven't really seen him yet, and then they hurt you with a bit of movement or a real piece of skill, and you're 1-0 down. And it's a completely different thing. But David Luiz is wanting Nelson just to compete with him, and he's dropping off a little bit for the flick-ons.
See, Willett was in there with Carroll once again there, but only Carroll getting the better of him on that occasion. Willian now for Arsenal. Getting the run on Longstaff. Aubameyang. Almiron able to get his foot in there. This is El Neni, who's actually started 5 of the last 6 in the Premier League, having a much better season. They sent him out on loan to Beşiktaş in Turkey last season.
And nowhere at the start of this season to start, really. In the warm-up matches, in the pre-season stuff, all of a sudden El Neni, and then he's been used heavily this season.
Here's Tierney. Nelson on the inside, Kraft beaten for pace. This is Reece Nelson, still going for it, and Dubravka relieved to be able to pounce.
Kieran Tierney absolutely brilliant again on that left-hand side. Super run, real intent, cuts the ball back. I just cannot believe that Reece Nelson's had a touch. I don't know why he needs a touch. It's brilliant play from Tierney, gets his head up. Look at that cutback, just his side foot it first time, have a touch. All of a sudden, the Newcastle defenders are on you. It just needed a one-touch side foot towards the goal. Once he had a touch, the chance was over.
He is the real deal, isn't he, Tierney?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I think since he's been into the team and really got his fitness, it's taken a while. He had a really rocky start with injury, but since he's been a regular and he's got that belief and fitness and sharpness, he's just been an outstanding performer. I just love his character. I think his character's down to earth and he's honest and he's solid.
And all being well, I think Arsenal won't have to worry about the left-back position for some considerable time to come. Right, what can Newcastle do with this one then? Carroll there just points to the sky as he prepares to
just hang it up there.
head towards the penalty area. David Luiz is going to have to try and keep an eye on them this time. He can't expect Joe Willock to do it on all occasions, and David Luiz is there first. It's with Aubameyang. Willock tries to challenge. It's Carroll. Block made by Tierney. Longstaff with the layoff, collected by Almiron. Here's Joelinton, faced by Pepe. You can tell from his facial expression he hasn't quite got the corner that he was hoping for.
I'm not sure if I quite saw the last touch coming off him, but perhaps it did ricochet off the Newcastle player, but Nicola Pepe just sticking to the task defensively there for Arsenal.
Here's Cedric. Can't find Pepe, and look at the space there now for Longstaff, sending it forward. Almiron, who's full of running. El Neni was waiting and had plenty of time to pick out Willian, who skips away from Andy Carroll, but is then nudged to the ground by Emil Kraft, the Swedish international.
And Willian not quite got that turn of pace now, just to get past people, and Longstaff does really well. Gets back in, or was it Kraft, came back into that position and just body checked Willian to the ground. Takes the ball lovely on the turn, but just that little burst of pace, not able to get past Kraft.
I think Kraft got in there quick, didn't he?
He did. He saw the danger and thought, I'll have to commit a foul here, and it was probably a smart foul to make.
First time he's played for a little while, actually, since the middle of December against Leeds United. Only played 4 times in the Premier League this season. This is Pablo Marie. And now David Luiz. And Luiz starting for the first time since the Everton game just before Christmas. Arsenal beaten at Goodison. Last 15 minutes of the opening half. And the holders being held so far by Steve Bruce's side. Pressure on Arsenal in possession. El Neni. Now Willock. Willian wanted the pass. Tierney again making a great run down the far side. Getting in ahead of Kraft. Whipping that one in. Lascelles with the header away.
He's got a bit more confidence with that right foot since he scored that goal at West Brom. Brilliant goal he scored, Kieran Tierney, cutting in onto his right foot.
Here's Luiz. Now Pepe drags Dummett infield. El Neni. Willock. Opportunities have been few and far between in the opening half so far for Arsenal. Here's Pepe. Going short, he'll take the return. Bit of space here for Nicola Pepe, just took it a little too far, and Isaac Hayden with a very, very important challenge.
He had to get that spot on there. Hayden, stick a leg out like that and you don't win the ball, you're in big trouble as a defender. It's really nice little bit of interchange here with Pepe and Aubameyang. He sees the run, he takes it in his stride. It's a shame he just can't make that pass there. I thought there was a ball into Nelson. Willian was sniffing about at the back post, but that's a really important toe from Hayden. Just gets enough of the ball.
Over it comes, and the header towards the far post, and Andy Carroll there initially shielding it, I think, as the keeper came out. And then in the end they knew they had to just get rid of it.
He dealt with it, but it was highly unusual from Andy Carroll. I think he thought the goalkeeper was coming to claim it, but when he wasn't there, he did the right thing, which is just to hook it away.
Arsenal's second corner of the match. It's a deep one. Easily away. It was Dummett who got his head to it. Back with Tierney. He fancies another run at Kraft. And Carroll is there once more. Tierney. Now with Reiss Nelson. Cedric. Forceful with that ball, and Willian won't be able to quite get there.
He's never going to make that pass, Willian. Arsenal have been quite patient at times, but just forces it a little bit there. Cedric tries to dink one over the top.
Well, Dubravka with that one save from Aubameyang, although the ball was pretty much straight at him.
Yeah, it was pretty straight. He was trying to hit it with the outside of his boot, Aubameyang, into that far post, but didn't quite get the angle right. Nevertheless, he was there and stood up tall and made the block.
Not the busiest of matches for Bernd Leno so far either. I don't think he's got his gloves dirty yet.
I remember him actually touching the ball.
Heading into the last 10 minutes of the first half. Joe Willock now finding El Neni. Here's Willian away from Longstaff. Nelson trying to have a run at Kraft. He blocks him off. Referee Kavanagh had a great view. Not unhappy with what occurred. Lascelles. El Neni sliding in to be a Newcastle throw.
And Andy Carroll's incredibly deep there for Newcastle, almost in the right wing-back position. And that's what most Newcastle fans do get a bit frustrated with.
Ah, there, that looks like Gabriel Martinelli down there with a boot on.
I think it is a boot, and keeping himself warm in the process.
Well, let's hope it's... one would think that it's not a major problem then, wouldn't you, if he's still sitting there?
No, I don't think you know whether it's a major problem or not. I mean, I'm pretty sure it isn't that major, but any kind of strain like that could be a few weeks or something like that. And in his world and where he's coming from, that's incredibly frustrating not to be able to get on the grass and show what he can do.
Yeah, it was a rotten moment for him. For those who haven't followed his year, he's not long returned from a knee injury that had kept him out for most of the season, and he was really upset. He was in tears on the pitch when he did whatever he did, rolled his ankle or whatever in the warm-up. He looked visibly very upset by it, and not surprised either.
I mean, Arsenal are hugely disappointed as well, because I mean, he's a player that's really being missed. I have to say, before he picked up that big injury, he was a shining light for Arsenal with his performances, and they need to get him back fit.
This is Reiss Nelson now. Yeah, Martinelli scored 10 goals in his first season, didn't he, last season? Really good. As Tierney now gets to the byline again, and it's headed behind by Paul Dummett.
It's actually a really clever header from Dummett, I have to say. It's a bit unorthodox to head it back towards your own goal, but sometimes it's worse to try and clear it and it lands with a midfield player, or you just get it to the edge of the box and you're defending another one. But the real threat comes from that man again, Tierney. He is motoring up and down that left-hand side, being a real threat for Arsenal.
In from Willian. It was Pablo Marie going for the header. Willock collecting the ball. Back with Kieran Tierney. Now Aubameyang. Cedric finding Willian. Nicola Pepe nearby. Mohamed El Neni. Arsenal have got Newcastle penned back at the moment. Can they find a way through as Willock jabs it into the penalty area, and it's an easy catch for Dubravka, who just plucks it from the air.
Just want to give the goalkeeper a bit of confidence there. Very simple catch for Dubravka. We like those ones that are just floated, straight line, nothing in the way, can just come and claim it.
He's had a heel injury picked up in pre-season. His last match was against Liverpool in July, the end of last season, but picked up a heel injury which has kept him out until now. Caldalo, as Matt mentioned earlier, has played very well this season in Dubravka's absence. Forceful play by Longstaff, he was a bit unlucky there. Falling at Willian's feet, Arsenal look to break. This is Nelson. Up against Kraft. Block made by Carroll. I mean, considering he's up front, he's done some great defensive work for them in this opening half.
He has, but Newcastle fans, and I'm sure Steve Rose won't want to see him in that position.
No.
Maybe he's had to drop in there because the game's dictated it, and he's taking responsibility, which is great. But this is the frustrating thing for Newcastle. I mean, how many efforts on goal? How much dominance are they showing? Any kind of?
Well, they haven't had any.
No, but any just the inkling or the desire to want to get forwards and be attacking. You just don't see that in this team at the moment.
The referee says play on. Jeff Hendrick with a challenge, just catching his opponent as Cedric sends it across. Took a deflection, and that'll be an Arsenal corner. Cedric, who arrived a year ago at Arsenal from Southampton, initially on loan. David Luiz trying to direct operations, and it looks as if Arsenal have decided they'll go to plan B.
Just put the ball above the goalkeeper, I think. They want Pepe just to whip it in on top of the goalkeeper and into a bundle of players.
Real thicket of players there in the 6-yard box. There's Willian trying to create a better angle. Pepe, Aubameyang. Space for Willian. Curled in. Dubravka's committed, and it's Carroll again who is back to head the ball behind.
A good defensive header from Andy Carroll. I'm not sure if Dubravka was going to get there and claim it. The big centre forward got a solid header away on that.
Last 5 minutes of the first half. Arsenal having more of the play, and Almiron challenging Willian. Back with Cedric into Nicola Pepe, away from two. Support from Joe Willock here. Plenty of red and white shirts forward. But again, they just can't force their way into the Newcastle penalty area, and Willian is called back for a foul on Miguel Almiron.
A little bit of quality again from Pepe with his first touch. Was lacking. Aubameyang wanted to bounce it into him one touch, and as he was coming onto the ball, his touch just let him down. It's those little moments that frustrate Arsenal. So we see Willian just get the wrong side of Almiron and take him out from behind.
Well, Carroll let it run, and so did Emile Kraft. They had a few early flurries in and around the Arsenal penalty area, didn't they, Newcastle? But in terms of them as an attacking force, they haven't created anything so far.
I mean, I'm not really even seeing them getting any kind of quality up to Andy Carroll. If you're going to have him as a focal point, you can then get Longstaff, Almiron, Hendrick. I haven't seen Hendrick on the ball at all, just up and around.
The longer the half has gone on as well, it's more noticeable.
Absolutely, and just get players around Carroll, win the ball, and then play from there. I get they might not want to play through Arsenal and have that type of game at the moment, but at least have an attacking game plan. I'm seeing not a lot of that at the moment from Newcastle.
El Neni, now Willock. Cedric sneaking forward on the near side. Pepe. Arsenal moving the ball around, but at the moment finding it hard to hurt Newcastle. Tierney. A couple of minutes remain in the first half. El Neni. Tierney, I was about to say Tierney was in a decent position on the far side, and Cedric just sends it away there. Willian. And then again, patient play. Looking for an opportunity. Newcastle. Stubborn, solid, concentrated. Arsenal looking for that little bit of improvisation, that little bit of something that can just prise open the back door. We don't have too much added time at the end of this half. I think we're expecting about a minute. And then he sends it forward, and now Cedric whipping it in. He's in the air for an age. It's a long old chase, and Joelinton able to shield it and safely see it out of play, despite the close attentions of Reiss Nelson. But again, Joelinton, one of Newcastle's forward players, popping up in the right back position.
Well, it was a 5 and a 4 with Andy Carroll. It was probably a 5 and a 5 at some point, with Andy Carroll dropping in, so condensed that space for Arsenal to be able to play through. Probably really are best off getting it wide to Tierney, but then you've got to have a really quick bit of play just to catch Newcastle off guard to create that space, and Arsenal couldn't quite create it there.
Kraft with the throw, a player they signed from the French league, from Amiens in 2019. A squad player rather than a starter for Steve Bruce this season. Pablo Marie. Will have a minimum of 1 minute of added time. Lacking a spark at the moment.
Yeah, it really is, both teams. I mean, Arsenal are probing, but Newcastle are making it difficult. I just feel that Arsenal have got to be a little bit quicker with their thinking and play, and then they might just catch Newcastle out and be able to find that piece of space. At the moment, it's a little bit dull because it's a bit of a stalemate.
Cedric has his name taken there for that foul on Miguel Almiron. Here it is.
It's a silly foul from Cedric, really petty foul for a fullback to get a yellow card and be put in this position. Doesn't need to make it. Gets his arm across, is the wrong side.
We've almost had a minute of added time, but it is Newcastle suddenly on the front foot here, right at the back end of the opening half. Sean Longstaff prepares to take this free kick. Carroll will head towards the ball, but it's a comfortable catch for Bernd Leno, and it brings to a conclusion the opening 45 minutes at the Emirates, and Mikel Arteta's side, the FA Cup holders, being held at the moment by Newcastle United. Martin Dubravka on his return to the Newcastle team, saving from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang of Arsenal, but it has been a half of bags of huff and puff, but little by way of clear-cut goal-scoring opportunity. Welcome back to North London as the teams prepare for the second half, and Newcastle, as you can see, are making a change. That's Matt Ritchie who is coming on for the second period. Ritchie is on for Jamal Lascelles. Lascelles, the club captain, who's been out for several weeks suffering from the effects of coronavirus. Booked during the first half, and Steve Bruce deciding that it was time to make a change for the second. I'll get a word from Matt Upson in just a moment on that one as Arsenal get the second half underway, because it clearly means that Newcastle are just reshuffling a little bit now. Yeah,
I think they'll reshuffle. Ritchie will drop into that left wing back, and Dummett will just come inside to play left side centre back. But as you mentioned, Lascelles, I think it was important he got on the pitch and got some minutes under the belt, but did look a little bit off the pace and a little bit rusty, which is completely understandable given what he's been through.
Yeah, hopefully will have benefited from the minutes that he had on the pitch as Newcastle clear the ball away. Arsenal, by the way, have failed to score in just one of their last 32 matches in the FA Cup. A goalless draw against Hull in the 5th round 5 years ago, but they've rarely looked like scoring in this one so far, and it must be said, Newcastle even less so in the opening 45 minutes. Still, long way to go in this one. Let's hope it's just 45 minutes and they can get it done in the 90. Of course, we will have a result come what may, because there will be no replays in the FA Cup this season, and it'll be extra time and penalties if required. A little reminder as well, they can use 5 substitutes in the FA Cup. It's only 3 in the Premier League, of course. So Matt Ritchie involved in the thick of the action already, helping to organise things as Newcastle defend for the first time in the second half. Pepe and Willian are the two players over on the far side. Aubameyang with one shot on target so far, bringing a save from Dubravka as Pepe sends it in. It's headed away by Kieran Clark. Almiron didn't really get hold of that. Pressure Willian. This is Tierney. Well, it was always going to be optimistic from that sort of distance.
His confidence is high at the moment, Tierney, but maybe got a touch carried away with that one. It was never sitting up nicely. His body weight was leaning a little bit off balance. It was a tough strike to get on target.
It was a little bit different to that effort from outside the penalty area against West Bromwich Albion last weekend. Dubravka made a couple of routine saves in the opening moments of the game, actually, the opening couple of minutes, and then one reasonably sharp save to deny Aubameyang, although the ball was relatively close to his body, but other than that, hasn't been unduly stretched. Here's Ritchie now. He'll give a bit more attacking width to Newcastle. I think Paul Dummett won't be too unhappy as well at not having to chase up and down with Pepe for the second half.
No, I don't think he'll be too disappointed about that, but you're right in Ritchie. He does have a little bit more quality on the ball. He's got a decent left foot that he's able to deliver the type of quality that Andy Carroll could get on the end of.
Hendrick held up by Joe Willock, unfairly according to the referee, who is Chris Kavanagh. He's been on Nations League and Europa League duty this season, as well as domestic matches up and down the country. Here's the challenge from Joe Willock.
Newcastle players, midfield players especially, will be wanting to get more involved in this game. They've barely seen Hendrick involved in the first half, and the game really has bypassed that middle of the park. They want to get hold of the ball or either get up to support Andy Carroll a bit more.
Dummett with the kick, long stuff. Back with Paul Dummett. Again, they're looking for Andy Carroll. And no threat to Bernd Leno's goal on this occasion. At a premium for Newcastle in recent matches, and chances at a premium so far in this FA Cup tie. This is Pablo Mari. Has Tierney on the near side. Closed down quickly by Almiron.
Slowly moving the ball, Arsenal at times. Pablo Mari there, just got to move it quicker, even if it's not a progressive pass, just move the ball and get the tempo of the game up a little bit. It'll help Arsenal's attacking play.
Carroll, who scored against Leicester last weekend. First goal since his return to Tyneside back in 2019. Second spell with the club, of course, and he's been pretty much on the outside looking in for most of the season. Only started a couple of times in the league. Getting an opportunity today, and he'll head up to the edge of the penalty area now as Almiron looks up, sends it his way, but Pablo Mari was there for Arsenal, and Nicola Pepe will look to bring it clear, but Dummett steps in, Longstaff, now with Hayden and Clark.
Early signs that they're going to get a few balls into the box from that left-hand side. It wasn't a bad ball for Carroll, but Pablo Mari was in the right place at the right time.
Willock showed a little too much of it to Jeff Hendrick there. Two draws and 4 defeats from the 6 matches played before this one for Steve Bruce's team. They haven't beaten Arsenal in the FA Cup since the 1952 final. They've played them 4 times. They drew one of the matches, which went to replay, and lost the other 3. So decent history between these two in the FA Cup. 3 finals, one of which Matt Upson alongside me remembers only too well in 1998. Here comes Pepe now, unleashing a shot which doesn't require a save.
A decent link up with Aubameyang. I felt he could have maybe took it on a little bit further. Pepe decided to shoot quite early, really didn't catch that one well. It was a poor quality strike, really dragged it across the goal. Didn't trouble Dubravka at all.
There we are.
That's the one.
Happy memories for you, and the first of 7 FA Cup wins under Arsene Wenger.
Incredible record, isn't it? Like I say, the club really do have the golden touch in this competition, and for Mikel Arteta to win that trophy at the end of last season, nobody saw that coming really. Such as Arsenal's love affair with this competition.
It was a very promising start, wasn't it, under Arteta? And you know, they performed well, and there was a real feel-good factor in lifting the FA Cup against Chelsea. But it's been a very different and quite turbulent season up to now.
Yeah, it has, and I think they came back really trying to control a lot of the possession of games. And I just don't think it suits this group of players, and they're slowly moving away from that. They beat Chelsea 3-1 a couple of matches ago. I think they only had like 39% possession of the ball. It just shows that they are a good counter-attacking team that can hurt anyone.
Next couple of games for Arsenal in the Premier League are at home as well, and Crystal Palace up next, and then another home game with Newcastle. Although of course I imagine the teams will look rather different. Arsenal having made 8 changes today, and Newcastle 7 of their own. Ritchie sending it forward. Here's Carroll, decent shot as well, and Bernd Leno forced into something resembling a save, which we haven't seen up to now.
He's got the capabilities of doing something like this, Andy Carroll. Over the years he's scored some quite amazing, spectacular goals at times, and he just thinks to have a shot pot there, just really gets a decent strike on the ball, slight deflection, forces a save from Leno.
Arsenal preparing to make a change shortly. Emile Smith Rowe preparing to come on. Here's Pablo Mari. Again, he's got all the time in the world. There is Smith Rowe. He's played really well actually in the last 3 games. It's the first 3 that he's started in the league all season, and he's definitely looked the part over the Christmas and New Year period. Aubameyang sends it over. It's an easy header away for Hayden. Nudge on by, collected by Willock on the far side. Here's Carroll. As Newcastle look to venture forward once more with Joel Linton. And Joe Willock looks a tad frustrated with that.
There was too much contact from Willock on Joe Linton, but the wrong side of a play. He just almost clips his heels here.
Joe Linton tripped over his own feet there, didn't he?
Yeah, he used the contact. There wasn't enough contact to make him go down, but he completely used that Joe Linton to win the free kick, and it's a position for Newcastle to have an opportunity and get the ball in Arsenal's box, which has been few and far between.
Well, we all know where the ball's heading, don't we?
Yeah. It's interesting. He's pulled onto Kieran Tierney. It's a slight mismatch in size there.
Right. Comes up to just above his belly button, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Here comes as David Luiz is there, and Tierney tries to clear. And Hendrick sent it in, and Andy Carroll is there, and that was a great chance that suddenly flashed before Carroll's eyes and very nearly ended up in the back of Arsenal's net.
That's exactly the type of opportunity that Arsenal will want to manufacture. Newcastle putting it into the box. Arsenal do not deal with it. The ball flashes back across, and Carroll is onside, as I think that's Cedric coming out a little bit later than everyone else. And what an opportunity on his left foot just to steer that on target.
That was a great chance.
Oh, anywhere inside the near post, and it's a goal, and quite rightly has his head in his hands.
Well, he's not likely to get too many chances, is he, in a match like this?
No, he's not. And those type of opportunities, just to get the ball in the box, anything can happen. And Newcastle showed that there.
Emile Smith Rowe is on for Arsenal, and Reece Nelson was the player they were preparing to take off. Nelson was a last-minute inclusion. Gabriel Martinelli injured just a few minutes before the match, actually, in the latter stages of the warm-up. Martinelli sitting in the stand watching the game with a boot on his foot. He looked as if he'd rolled his ankle, something like that.
If I was going to pick a player off Arsenal's bench to have an impact on this game at the moment, I would have picked Emile Smith Rowe. I really would. As you've mentioned, he's been excellent in the last 3 games and looks really sharp and bright.
Yeah, he'd first come in, I mean, he had a shoulder injury, didn't he, at the start of the season, which kept him out for a little while, but then they started playing him in a couple of the Europa League matches. He scored against Rapid Vienna, played well when given an opportunity in Europe, and as you say, in the last 3 matches in the Premier League, he started and played a notable role in Arsenal's uptick in form.
It's just as he brings a bit of energy, doesn't he, to the attacking play. He's willing to make runs and move and pick up positions to get on the ball and then have it back again. It's just that type of mindset.
This is Kieran Tierney whipping it in. It's comfortable for Dubravka. Arsenal put 3 past Chelsea here. They put 4 past West Brom in the last game. Finding it tough going against the solid resistance of Steve Bruce's outfit. Just over half an hour remaining, and now it's with Carroll once more. Waits for some support to arrive. Block is made by David Luiz. Sean Longstaff was in the middle. Luiz wins the duel on this occasion into Pepe, who's been harassed by Paul Dummett.
It was an ambitious effort from Andy Carroll, wasn't it, on his left foot?
Oh, Williams giving it away here, and now Almiron. He's got Kraft to his right, and the Swede now with the chance to deliver. Carroll's going to chase. It's taken him out of the danger area for now. Ritchie. Kraft able to keep the ball in play, and it all rather fizzles out. And once again, Williams' touch is not great. Twice in the last minute or so.
He's had a poor start to the second half. Willian overrunning the ball. He doesn't look like he's can run with any kind of pace at the moment. Really struggling to keep up. He's drifted out wide now. I think he's pulled onto this left-hand side as opposed to being down the middle behind Aubameyang.
El Neni sending it forward here to Aubameyang, who clips it past Dubravka, and in the end, some distance past the post as well.
Like a little bit of a mix-up there from Newcastle. The ball all of a sudden just seemed to creep through this space. It's a decent run from Aubameyang. I think it's a small touch from Clark just to nudge the ball away from the goal. Just gets enough on it to force Aubameyang wide. It's a difficult finish with the outside of your right boot.
Well, he's had a couple of sightings of goal now, Aubameyang, in the match today.
Surprised he went with his right foot there. I thought it was more of a left foot finish just to try and get the ball on target.
Alexander Lacazette among the substitutes for Arsenal today. Lacazette's really found his shooting boots again in recent games. 4 goals in the last 3, including 2 at West Brom last time out. Here's Joel Linton keeping Cedric busy. Ritchie losing the ball. Back by Smith Rowe. He's a real busy bee of a player.
Yeah. Got real energy, hasn't he? Wants to make something happen.
Well, we need players like that, don't we, in this cup tie for either side, just to lift the momentum of the game a little bit, give it that added bite, that added intensity. It's with Tierney now, and Willian can't get to the ball before it rolls over the touchline. Well, I wonder whether he's considering any other changes in the not too distant future.
I mean, you wouldn't be surprised to see Saka come on, would you? Willian looks in the second half like he's a little bit disinterested in his body language and facial expression.
Saka's looked great lately, hasn't he?
Brilliant. When you think of what's on the bench in terms of Saka and Lacazette, in terms of goals, they've been huge contributors to Arsenal in the last month or so.
It was a high boot from Marie there, but he clearly wasn't trying to injure the player.
No.
I think he knew the whistle was going to blow.
Yeah.
It was head high.
Yeah, it was head high. It wasn't any intent here from Murray. He just had only eyes on the ball and tried to win it. So it was Longstaff, wasn't it, came in.
Isaac Hayden is going to take the free kick here for Newcastle. He's a player who began his career as a youth player at Arsenal before leaving in 2016 for Tyneside. And then he scoops it away, but poorly. Joe Linton finding Almiron. No Longstaff. Kraft has come forward on the near side. Usual figure of Andy Carroll waiting in the centre. On this occasion, football which doesn't arrive. We're in the last half an hour, in theory, of this FA Cup third round tie. We will have a winner one way or the other, even if we do need to have extra time and possibly penalties.
Something's going to need to change in this game. If this is going to be the last half an hour, whether it's going to be a mistake or one of the teams really does produce a piece of quality to open up the opposition, but at the moment I haven't quite seen it from either team.
There's Hayden and now Kraft. And Nicola Pepe just pointing something out down in the technical area. Just wondered whether he was pointing at somebody to get ready, but maybe he's just making a point to his backroom staff. David Luiz gets the better of Carroll. Pepe trying to find a way past Hendrick. That's Smith Rowe battling away in midfield, and his enthusiasm and persistence wins the day and wins the ball. And Willian finds Tierney. It's cut out at the back there by Clark. Willian once more. Tierney into Pepe, and the header down is saved by Dubravka, who denies Joe Willock.
That was a lovely ball back into the box, really inviting cross. Joe Willock does so well to get into a goal-scoring area. He anticipates the ball to come in from Pepe with his left foot, heads it down, but a little bit too much, just skids up off the surface, and Dubravka reads it. It's a nice height for him, able to just push it past the post.
The way Willock was rubbing his face, and I wondered whether he'd headed the ball or whether it had smacked him in the face.
Yeah, it wasn't the smoothest contact, really wasn't. He headed it down, he got a bit too much on it, so it came down and up off the grass.
Willian's delivery. David Luiz can't get anywhere near it this time. Back with Tierney. He's got Aubameyang on the near side. He's going to take on Kraft, who can't get hold of him. A little dink in towards Smith Rowe, headed away by Dummett, collected by El Neni. 25 minutes of this Emirates FA Cup tie remaining as Cedric sends it long, and Pepe chasing hard, looking for any pieces, and Newcastle just about tidy that one up as the whistle blows. But from those sort of moments, opportunities can suddenly arrive on occasions.
If there's a mix-up between the defender and the goalkeeper, you never know what might happen, but clear foul from Pepe there.
Arsenal making a change. There's Granit Xhaka, who looks like he's getting ready to come on. Bukayo Saka as well. Double change here. Bukayo Saka and Xhaka on for Arsenal, and Willian, one of those being replaced. He's just failed to really make an impact in this particular match.
He's really looked a bit disinterested for me in the second half, Willian. Doesn't surprise me that they brought Saka on to inject a bit of energy.
He scored in 2 of the last 3 matches, Bukayo Saka. And Granit Xhaka, who scored a cracker of a free kick at home to Chelsea on Boxing Day, is on for Joe Willock, who just had that header saved by Dubravka.
He's done okay, Willock, for me. I think he's had a pretty decent game in the middle there, but I think Mikel Arteta just thinking to bring Xhaka on, his experience and ability to pick a pass every now and then, might just swayed that decision for him.
Well, Newcastle are going to make it. That's Jacob Murphy waiting to come on, and that will happen soon by the looks of things. Murphy, who came off the bench for the last 25 minutes in the most recent game against Leicester City last weekend, will come on for the final quarter of this one as well by the looks of it. It's with El Neni now for Arsenal. Reed to the near side, Tierney's little nudge on. First touch for Saka. Xhaka scoring a terrific free kick against Chelsea. Bukayo Saka's effort was pretty spectacular as well.
Oh, he's in great form, isn't he? And I like the fact that he's been playing quite a lot on the right-hand side as well, coming inside onto his left foot. It's a whole different dimension to his game at that point.
And the other thing, of course, we shouldn't forget is that he is still just 19 years of age.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of game time. Did brilliantly from the restart for Arsenal, came into the team and really played a lot of minutes back to back. He was playing very well.
Didn't play that situation particularly well though, did they?
No, it's something that they like under Mikel Arteta. They don't just clear their lines at times, they like to play out and through, but it can be dangerous play at times.
Well, Emil Kraft is going to have to wait a moment, I think, to take this throw in, and indeed he will not be him taking the throw, I think. And it is Kraft who has just found out that he needs to put the ball on the ground and move away because he is done for the day, and Jacob Murphy is on to replace him.
Well, that is a more attacking switch from Steve Bruce, which I'm glad to see. Murphy's far more inclined to get up and want to attack from that wide position.
Well, Newcastle are right where Steve Bruce would want them to be, aren't they, in a way? Do you not think, Matt?
Yeah.
Roughly 20 minutes to go and they're still in the game.
Absolutely, and then I think they'll make a substitution like that and think, well, maybe we can nick it. And that's as good as what they can hope for at the moment.
Well, if they get another chance like the one that fell to Andy Carroll earlier in the half, maybe they will, because Arsenal struggling to create very much.
Well, Newcastle's the best chance of the game, isn't it? By far, Andy Carroll's simplest chance of the game, and on the balance, Newcastle probably should be 1-0 up off of that.
Nice touch for Murphy. Xhaka tries to win it back, and he's penalised by the referee. Pretty sturdy challenge on Almiron.
Just slightly came from behind. I think it wasn't too far off being an honest, genuine tackle. He just goes through the back of Almiron's leg as he gets his leg across, and it's a clear decision for the referee.
Real indication yet as to who actually is going to go on and win this FA Cup tie out of these two. Newcastle 4 points behind Arsenal in the Premier League table, 11th hosting 15th at the moment. So Arsenal have picked up 9 points from the last 3 games. It's been a poor season by their own normally high standards in terms of the points collected and the overall performance level, as Murphy sends it into the box and David Luiz committed to the header, almost with his nose on the ground by the time the ball reached him.
Just saying about Arsenal's form this season, I think they've lost 8 matches.
They've lost more than they've won. They've lost 8 and won 7 in the league.
Unheard of, isn't it? You know, it's such a poor, at this stage, to have lost more than that you've won is so unusual for a club like Arsenal.
Luiz getting up well there against Joe Linton. He's sending it forward, but it's too long again. Smith Rowe, the furthest forward in the middle. Just waiting for that one moment of real quality.
Hopefully we'll get it.
Hayden away to the far side. That's Ritchie. Now Dummett happy to send it back into the middle via Clark. Here's Almiron. Comfortable for Cedric. Pepe rides the challenge of Dummett. He's away from him and unleashes the shot. skidding across the face of goal.
Well, the move started off with that little piece of quality from Pepe. Takes the ball really well here, rides the tackle, comes inside onto his favoured left foot. He's just got to hit the target. I can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to bend that into the far post, but gets it horribly wrong. It's well wide in the end.
It looked at that moment as if he'd done the hardest part and had done it
Absolutely.
very, very well. And when you see the replay, you could see how disappointing the finish was compared to the play that preceded it.
Well, because once he came inside, the space opened up, didn't it? It always does, because defenders have to move. Aubameyang made a run and just dragged the centre-back out the way, and the space open. There was plenty of time to hit the target. As we've seen before in this game, just that final piece of quality has been lacking.
Saka in, and Xhaka just sidestepping that challenge from Hendrick.
I think he felt he was fouled, Xhaka.
He did, he didn't like it, did he?
No, it probably was a foul, but I think the ball had already gone and the pass had been played, and the referee just waved play on.
He gave an irritated look to the referee, didn't he, there? Dubravka. No ring rust from him on his return to the first team, but again it's all a little bit aimless and hopeful rather than carefully constructed. Xhaka has a real stodgy pace to the game at times.
Flat, isn't it?
Yeah, Bukayo Saka now looking to try and lift things. Pepe, here's Cedric with a chance to send it into the penalty area, into Emile Smith Rowe. Forced out of the box by Richie, El Neni. And Smith Rowe's little flick is easy for Kieran Clark to clear away.
I like that Smith Rowe wants to go again though. When he flicks that ball, he'll always make a run or a move, follow his pass or go into space. It's a really good asset a young attacking player should have.
Xhaka, closed down by Almiron. Picking out Kieran Tierney. Saka and Aubameyang in the penalty area. Smith Rowe's in there as well. Aubameyang gets up but isn't able to make a clean contact.
He's great at making that half a yard, isn't he, Kieran Tierney? Just when you think he's not going to get that cross in, he's able just to change up his pace and direction and create enough space to get the ball across.
That wasn't the subtlest of challenges. Right underneath the referee's nose. Arsenal quick with a free kick. Just a shade over 15 minutes remaining. And with all the football that's being played at the moment, I think these two sets of players would be the last people that would want an extra half an hour, and this tie as the shot comes in from Aubameyang once again.
He's having to resort to almost efforts outside of the box to create anything. Aubameyang, the ball drops out of the air. It is inviting. It's not a bad effort, plenty of dip on it. Just gets too much height on the ball.
"15 minutes to go. The holder's being held by last year's quarter-finalists, Newcastle United. Newcastle actually have had the best opportunity of the whole match, which Andy Carroll put just wide. This is David Luiz. Tierney again providing an offensive outlet on the near side for Arsenal into Bukayo Saka. That's a bit more like it.
Had a little bit more pace about it, that move. Nice ball from David Luiz. Tierney has been a threat all evening on this left-hand side. A nice touch, and just see Saka arriving. It's a decent touch and it's a good strike, but the ball was always rising. Wasn't able to keep it low enough.
Granit Xhaka getting in there ahead of Joelinton. Cedric was trying to pick out Aubameyang. Smith Rowe's pass, rather misdirected on this occasion, and Ritchie wins a throw. Dummett finding Joelinton. Slowly they advance. Newcastle not unhappy at all with the way this is panning out at the moment.
I mentioned they're delighted to still be in the game at 0-0. Anything can happen. Extra time, penalties, a set piece. Arsenal really do need to start to take this to Newcastle in this last 10-15 minutes, ramp up the tempo. They've made the substitutions. We'll see them inject a little bit more pace into this type of play.
Marie Tierney sending it forward. It's a long chase for Saka. He was very much second favourite there to Isaac Hayden. Xhaka coming short to collect the ball. Try to set up the play once more as Pepe looks to get away from Ritchie. Now Smith Rowe, Aubameyang waits in the middle. Deflection coming off Clark, straight into the gloves of Dubravka once again.
Smith Rowe just making those little runs. Hasn't had any joy yet. He's always trying to pick up a little area of the pitch or run into a space to get the ball.
There's Steve Bruce about to make another change. Seeing DeAndre Yedlin and Elliot Anderson shortly. More on that in a moment. Is that Andy Carroll on the ground in the middle of the pitch?
He just got blocked by David Luiz and he flattened him a little bit. He ran into him and he's gone to ground, not happy with the referee for giving a foul, almost like an obstruction really.
Xhaka. Newcastle with plenty of time to set themselves defensively again as El Neni away to the far side picks out Cedric. Arsenal just looking for that creative spark, that moment to prise open the visiting defence. It just hasn't arrived yet as Tierney does keep the ball in play. Saka whips it in. Oh, that's a horrible looking slice from Hayden, and Aubameyang almost there. Ritchie just about got his foot to the ball. Less than convincing defending there.
There's a few miscues in a row, wasn't there? From the defensive side, and a bit of a fortunate ball into the box from an attacking sense.
A couple of changes coming up for Newcastle here. DeAndre Yedlin is going to come on and he's going to replace Miguel Almiron. And there is Almiron, who's appeared in every match bar one in all competitions for Newcastle this season. He's been really busy. So Yedlin, who's had a good run in the side recently, comes on. And the next substitution, as Joelinton comes off, we'll see academy prospect Elliot Anderson making his debut. The 18-year-old has been training with the first team this season. He's been at the club since he was 8 years old. Local lad, good with both feet, and he follows in family footsteps because his grandfather, Jeff Allen, was part of Newcastle's Intercity Fairs Cup winning squad in the late 1960s. His career sadly cut short by injury at 23, but proud day for the family with Elliot Anderson making his debut for Newcastle today.
Well, it's got a little bit of time to create something special. That would be a story, wouldn't it? If he could pop up with a winner here today for Newcastle.
And it comes from Cedric. Well, we saw Louis Barry, the 17-year-old, score that cracking goal for Aston Villa. I was going to say Aston Villa's youngsters against Liverpool last night.
Just love the look on his face after winning. The celebration was brilliant, wasn't it?
He was a local lad, Birmingham born, and his family or Villa fans, as Aubameyang just tried to get the header in once more.
It's Tierney again being that threat on the left, just creating that space, that little surge, that little knock and run. It's tending to just be enough to create a crossing opportunity every time so far this evening. Newcastle just haven't got to grips with him there.
Only got a few minutes of the 90 remaining now.
Yep.
Is someone going to be the hero before the 90 minutes are up? Will we need extra time? And Bukayo Saka trying to tidy up. Yedlin sniffing around. Arsenal trying to play their way out and making a mess of it. It's with Andy Carroll. And Carroll fancies a shot, and the deflection carries it behind. But it's those sort of moments again where a deflection could easily carry it into the back of the net.
Absolutely. I mean, Arsenal incredibly sloppy there. Mari, Saka, Tierney, all of them, nobody really passing the ball with any purpose to get out of that situation, and you can so easily get punished from there. And like you say, just the wrong type of deflection could just end up in the bottom corner.
Well, the holders unable to assert any real authority on this third round tie. They're the opening match of their defence of the trophy. And Newcastle suddenly sensing the opportunity in the final minutes here. They might be able to snatch it. Matt Ritchie with the corner. And the little flick at the near post from Hendrick. Just skips behind the goal for a goal kick for Bernd Leno.
It's a disappointing set piece from me to hit the near man. I don't know how Hendrick is hoping to score from there. I don't even know if that's possible.
Would have been some goal.
Oh, just you think with the height they have in the team, just put the ball in the box and let Andy Carroll go and compete for it. You never know what's going to happen with a loose ball or a second ball.
This is Mohamed El Neni, now David Luiz. Smith Rowe. Xhaka. Tierney again available on the near side. Pepe. Smith Rowe just tries to move away from trouble but runs straight into it. In the form of Murphy, Yedlin dropping him back. Challenge which has left Kieran Tierney on the ground, and Arteta straight away says put the ball out of play. His player's taken a bang on the head there.
I think he just caught the forearm of Yedlin as Tierney nipped in front of him to win the ball. Just ran across his path there, Tierney, and blocked him. As he won that, just caught his left hand in the side of his face. Not sure if it was intentional from Yedlin. It almost looked like a little bit of a swipe though.
Tierney's back up, back in the game, picking up Pepe. Smith Rowe, Pepe once more. Newcastle digging in, Arsenal can't find a way through. And Carroll, very much on his own, will chase for all he's worth, but he will chase in vain. El Neni comes to collect. 5 minutes plus added time. Extra time is starting to loom on the horizon.
It's looking very likely, the extra time.
Kieran Clark. Longstaff. This is Pablo Mari. Looking for Bukayo Saka, DeAndre Yedlin cutting it out. Murphy. One of the Newcastle substitutes. Gets himself a free kick there.
It's going nowhere there as well. Murphy just running into trouble, delighted to come out with a free kick and just ease the pressure off Newcastle, allow them to reset, get up the pitch. Arsenal having boxed in, and it's a really loose leg from Kieran Tierney just to clip Murphy and put him down.
That was a foul though.
It was a tired tackle, wasn't it, from Tierney, who has worked hard this evening up and down the left-hand side. I'm sure he won't be looking forward too much to extra time.
Yeah, Arsenal lacking attacking effervescence and inspiration today, so far. And Carroll trying to escape the clutches of Cedric, which he's done pretty well. And it will be a corner. And potentially another opportunity here for Steve Bruce's team.
Yeah, these are the moments where Arsenal really do have to keep concentration. It's the type of situation Newcastle have been waiting for, a late corner, something like that, just to get that crucial goal.
There's Elliot Anderson, the debutant, right up against Bernd Leno. And it comes. They're looking for Carroll, who used his opponent as a ladder, I think, in the referee's opinion there. 3 minutes and counting. Well, Arsenal have found it hard going at home in a number of matches this season, and they've got bogged down in this one.
They haven't really been able to stamp their authority on the game with any real intensity or quality. Arsenal.
Dubravka hasn't really had that much to do, has he?
No, they've had flurries where they've looked like they're going to get forward or control possession in and around the Newcastle penalty area, but nothing's really come of it.
Layoff from Pepe, collected by Smith Rowe. Here's Tierney now. He's got Aubameyang ahead of him, but Hayden had a head start on that pass. Yedlin. That's Tierney bowling forward just in case anything falls his way.
And Hayden just read that pass well, knew exactly where Tierney wanted to put that ball in behind for Aubameyang.
Aubameyang once more. Smith Rowe again surging forward ahead, just checks back to make sure he stays onside. Tierney. Smith Rowe does always make himself available for a pass, doesn't he? You can really notice that.
Always wants the ball. And when he has it and he passes it, he moves again because he wants it again. It's the main thing I like about him.
Constantly on the move and offering himself. Granit Xhaka to El Neni. We're heading towards the last minute of the 90, and it's starting to look like extra time is on the cards now, as Smith Rowe can't find Tierney on the near side. Granit Xhaka picking out El Neni. It was hopeful from David Luiz. Really close to finding Pepe. Newcastle got much left. Well, that rather fizzled out. Arsenal with another opportunity, perhaps. Bukayo Saka trying to skip away from Anderson. Sheer weight of numbers, Newcastle come away with the ball this time. Pretty soft free kick there.
Yeah, that has been the problem. You know, Arsenal haven't been able to create anything, but also Newcastle have brought so many numbers back. They've really packed out that area just outside their own penalty area when they don't have possession, and Mikel Arteta's men haven't had the speed or the quality, the creativeness to break it down. And you know, perhaps that is a game plan from Newcastle, and they've executed it quite well because they're still in this match, very much so.
Well, we're into 3 added minutes, a minimum of. There's somebody got a big finish to this game in them, or will we have an extra half an hour? And of course the potential of penalty kicks to decide this FA Cup third round tie. Xhaka digs it out, forward by El Neni. That was Carroll trying to get his head on it. Aubameyang battling away, held up by Kieran Clark. He'll get the free kick as well. And then the ball's knocked away, much to Arsenal's frustration.
He just snuck onto that ball. Aubameyang did quite well, got his body in between Clark and the ball.
I think that's a yellow card for Kieran Clark, isn't it? For his role in that. Indeed it is. Well, here's an opportunity perhaps. Murphy reluctantly walking away. Well, there won't be too many more opportunities as Pepe sends it in. David Luiz gets his head on the ball, and it's very routine for Dubravka. Longstaff sends it long. Here now is Murphy into the centre. And the shot from Anderson. The save by Bernd Leno, who denies Andy Carroll and then gets there ahead of DeAndre Yedlin. Super save by Bernd Leno. He kept his team in the FA Cup there.
Well, I really did think that was the moment of the game, and it should have been.
Smith Rowe, meanwhile, involved in a challenge with Sean Longstaff, and he gets a yellow card for it.
Yeah, that moment for Andy Carroll is the second time in this game he's had a great chance to score. Arsenal had thrown a lot of bodies forward. Smith Rowe just put in a, I think it's because his studs were up in that tackle.
Smith Rowe just catching. I'm just wondering whether he's... what colour that card is. They are looking at it on VAR just to make sure, but I think that he's been sent off here.
Yeah.
Here it is again.
I mean, I don't think it's not sending off.
No.
Not a chance is that a sending off.
He's just trying to get to the ball,
isn't he? He's tried
to
play the ball, and he's not really made that much contact with the play. He's just tried to flick a foot at the ball to win it. And
I think the way the player went down, and cried out, made it seem worse in real time than it looks there. The referee's going to have a look himself.
Yeah, and I'll be surprised if he sticks to his decision, but anything's possible.
It's Andre Mariner in the VAR hub, and Chris Kavanagh is going to make his own mind up about it. He's clearly just trying to get the ball, would you not think?
He's just trying to flick the ball away. He's not got any momentum. He's standing still. It's the Newcastle player who's coming in that has the momentum into the tackle. So for me, he's not thrown himself into this. He's just tried to flick the ball away.
He's falling away. He's got the momentum's carrying him away from the ball, not towards it, isn't it? That's his problem. And I think he's going to get a... Is he going to get a yellow? Yes, he is. He's going to get a yellow. And I think that Chris Kavanagh's clearly made the right decision there.
Well done, the referee, to go and view it and look at it sensibly.
So yellow card then for Emile Smith Rowe, and we're in the 5th minute of 3 minutes of added time at the end of the game, and we're just moments away from extra time at the Emirates. So this really is the last opportunity for Newcastle, I think, before we go to extra time. If they're going to end the tie in regulation time, one imagines they need to come up with something pretty good now, as it goes into the penalty area and Aubameyang slides in. It's behind for a corner. And they might just have time to take it.
And because of that red card incident, I don't really spoke too much about the chance that Newcastle had just before that. It was a glorious opportunity to win the game. And they've still got another one here if the delivery's right.
Leno did pretty well, didn't he?
Very well. Brave.
And it comes from Matt Ritchie. Leno stays on his line. Carroll goes for it. David Luiz clears the ball. Still we play on, deep into added time as Arsenal clear. Yedlin is there for Newcastle. And there goes the final whistle, and we will have extra time. The holders of the FA Cup, Arsenal, couldn't find a way past Newcastle in the 90 minutes, and indeed it was the visiting side who had the best goal-scoring opportunities, and Andy Carroll involved in the thick of it on both occasions with 2 chances in the second half. Drama near the end of the game. Emile Smith Rowe initially shown a red card for a challenge on Sean Longstaff, but on video evidence the referee decided to go and have a look again at his decision, and on review felt that it was not the correct call, and the referee reduced it to a yellow card. So after 90 minutes it is still Arsenal 0, Newcastle 0. We will have extra time. Well, it's been a match of few goal-scoring opportunities here in the first half. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang bringing the first decent save of the match out of Martin Dubravka, the Newcastle goalkeeper.
Newcastle just caught napping. Early ball from Louise just catches them out. Aubameyang gets in behind, but doesn't quite get enough angle on this effort to hit that far post. It's a good stop from Dubravka, and then Willian just shifts it onto his left foot and bangs it over the bar.
But here, Newcastle had an opportunity themselves in the second half. Arsenal struggling to deal with the ball into the penalty area, and as it's whipped across, suddenly a great chance falling at the feet of Andy Carroll.
What a miss from Andy Carroll in a game with very few chances. It's a simple chance just to hit that inside the far post.
And then this came right at the end of the match. We're in added time at the end of the game as the ball came across to Carroll. Another opportunity denied by Bernd Leno, and he then gets there ahead of DeAndre Yedlin. It's going to be extra time. So extra time it is. We will have a winner one way or the other. We may of course need penalty kicks, but we'll get to that if we need to. We have another half an hour, Matthew Upson, to try and find a winner in this tie. And you have to say that on what we've seen so far, limited goal scoring opportunities, the best of them fell to Newcastle.
For sure. Newcastle have had the two better opportunities to win this football match. Both have fallen to Andy Carroll. And on the basis of that, they should be walking off this pitch now having won this FA Cup tie, and just hasn't been able to find the back of the net. And Arsenal have been nowhere near good enough in terms of from an attacking point of view to win this match either.
So just waiting for the signal from referee Chris Kavanagh. And away we go. It's Newcastle United who get extra time underway, the first period of it anyway. Certainly had the upper hand in the closing moments of the game, and Andy Carroll with two good chances in the second half. Bukayo Saka collecting here for Arsenal. Good flick back from Aubameyang. And Saka was caught there. Referee, I think, initially happy to let the first challenge go in case there was an advantage for Arsenal.
Did really well to stay on his feet, Saka. His little flick from Aubameyang for him to come onto, and he just got to the ball and was fouled.
Saka whips it forward. By the way, the draw for the next round of the FA Cup is on Monday in the evening at just after 7 o'clock UK time, 7 UK time, and as part of that it will also include the pairings for the draw for the fifth round, unusually because of the way things are this season and how difficult everything is at the moment for obvious reasons. So we will effectively have the draws for the fourth round and the fifth round together on Monday.
Has that ever been done before?
No, I don't think so, and it does of course mean that teams like Chorley, who are in the draw for the fourth round for the first time in their history, non-league Chorley, they're effectively in the fifth round draw as well, so it'll be quite an enticing couple of ties laying before them, tantalising.
Well, it is different in the Cup to actually know potentially who you might be getting in the next round of the round you're about to play. It's very unusual, isn't it? Had a lot of that this season and last.
Well, here's the chance, Matt, right at the end of the match. Good save by Leno.
It's a strong hand, isn't it? I mean, it's coming at him, Carroll, and he just tries to concentrate and get contact on the ball and hit the target, which I think he does, but Leno's flying across to his right-hand side, but that left arm was really strong.
And then he got up well to get to the ball quickly ahead of Yedlin.
Yeah, it was really good goalkeeping, kept Arsenal in the tight.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, he hasn't had much to do, but very professional in maintaining his concentration and being there required on this chilly night. That's a poor ball away. Murphy here for Newcastle. He's got the better of Granit Xhaka. The referee had a great view, no penalty, and Xhaka will bring it clear. Here's Smith Rowe. Just what the players won't have wanted, I think, an extra 30 minutes. It's not as if they're not playing much at the moment already, although one or two of these Arsenal players are not in the team very often, as Smith Rowe tries to get the shot in.
There was a deflection there off Smith Rowe's effort, just off the Newcastle defender. Nice driving run. Tierney, who's always been up high on the left-hand side, it just hits Kieran Clark. I think it just glances the ball away.
I was going to say, you'd hope there was a deflection,
yeah.
for his sake. Luiz.
In again.
El Neni finding Smith Rowe, is always keen to scuttle forward at every opportunity. Tierney into Saka, faced by Hayden. And it comes from Tierney. Not enough to beat Ritchie. Oh, that's a tremendous shot there from Granit Xhaka, pushed over and away by Dubravka.
Well, one thing Xhaka really does have, he's got a lovely left foot, and he loves arriving at the edge of the box for chances like this. It's a really well-controlled volley, falls out of the sky, and Dubravka is equal to it. It's got a lovely dip to it. It was going just under the crossbar, I think. It was quite central, just gave the goalkeeper an opportunity to get a hand on it, but a great effort from Xhaka.
It was a cracker of a shot, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's tough to get that kind of control on the ball when it's falling from so high.
Dubravka can hardly move there on his line.
They've been doing this, Arsenal, then playing short quite a lot. So whether it's a ploy just to do this and play short and then scatter to try and find space, I'm not sure, but I've not seen them hit many in underneath the goalkeeper.
You see referee telling their boys to get out the back of the net,
yeah,
get back on the pitch. Referee's not happy. It was Nicola Pepe who was loitering in the back of the net there. He's got a lot to keep an eye on here. Referee Kavanagh. Ruiz at the far post. Header away, and El Neni sending that one nearer the roof of the stand than the back of the net.
Not quite the control and finesse we've just seen from Xhaka with his effort. El Neni in a similar position, a little bit more under pressure, more bodies in the way. Taking a wild swipe at that one.
He doesn't score many, does he, El Neni? That's clearly not part of his game. That's not what he's in the team for. But he did score a lovely goal against Dundalk away from home in the Europa League. This was his first Arsenal goal for about 3 years. But it was certainly a memorable one. Dummett sending it forward now for Newcastle. It's towards Anderson. El Neni stepping in. Well, they're still in it. They haven't hit the heights, though, today at all, Mikel Arteta's team. They looked really good in the last match away at West Bromwich Albion in the snow at the Hawthorns. There's much to admire about the way Arsenal move the ball around.
I think it is hard when you make so many changes, both teams, 7 and 8 changes into the team, really does make the difference.
This is Murphy in towards Carroll, going against David Luiz once more, collected by Matt Ritchie. Luiz with the header away. There's that little bit of adventure appearing in Newcastle's game the longer the game wears on.
It's those little situations there when the ball gets cleared and it comes out to an Arsenal player. That's where you want to see them spring into life and have that real quality and counter-attack. And it's one thing Arsenal haven't done that well when they've had the opportunity. They haven't counter-attacked well, but David Luiz had to do a bit of defending here. Andy Carroll looks to get across him. He gets in the way there and then has a decent header out on the second phase. He's had a real physical contest with Andy Carroll this evening. I'm sure he'll have a couple of bumps and bruises after the game.
Arsenal look to venture forward once more with Nicola Pepe. Here's Aubameyang. He's a man who can turn a game in a moment. Couldn't find a way through there and goes to ground. Not well received by Newcastle's defenders.
I'm not sure if there was enough contact to go to ground. He sees the opportunity, he tries to knock it through and just go past Kieran Clark. It's a bit of a clumsy position he puts himself in. He's very square, makes a bit of contact with him, but not enough to send Aubameyang down. I think he was fishing for that one.
Now, what can Arsenal do with this? Not much is the answer, as Dubravka gets it away. Tierney's header finds Aubameyang. Delicate little ball into the air through the 6-yard box, and the ponytailed figure of Andy Carroll there once more. Granit Xhaka. Ruiz closed down by Anderson, the 18-year-old. Pablo Mari. Poor touch there by El Neni. Affords Jacob Murphy the opportunity to reclaim possession, momentarily at least for Newcastle, but now El Neni will look to make amends, helped out by Pablo Mari with the initial pass. It's still with El Neni. Now Bukayo Saka, and it's just too easy for Dubravka.
It's almost straight at him, isn't it, from Saka? He doesn't get any real angle on the cross. Aubameyang just lurking in the middle. Just got caught in two minds whether it was a shot or a cross, but either way, you're absolutely right, didn't trouble Dubravka. Just a little look at that penalty shout. I think Kieran Clark is a little bit clumsy. He's not in a great position in terms of his body shape. I don't think there's enough
it's
contact
that. Did you see
with
that?
Ritchie.
It was Kieran Clark's right leg. He crosses it behind his other leg and catches Aubameyang.
There's a little bit of contact from Ritchie as well, wasn't there? I just think it all looked a little bit muddled and a bit messy, and the referee couldn't quite figure out what
Xhaka
was what.
slides it in. Here's Bukayo Saka. This could be a chance, and it's blocked by Kieran Clark.
Just slightly overran it. Saka, sorry, just slightly had a heavy touch. Didn't allow him to pick anyone out in the box.
El Neni. Arsenal just upping their pace a little bit now. Bukayo Saka once more sends it in, but it's too long for Aubameyang in the centre.
You think as the players tire, opportunities are going to start to present themselves surely at some point. It looks like Arsenal were just probing away.
Well, you'd hope somebody from either side could win the game from open play, or rather than it going to penalty kicks. We've got less than 20 minutes to find out. Mikel Arteta there, considering his options. Well, that was a glittering start to life as Arsenal's manager, wasn't it? Winning the FA Cup at the back end of last year, well, in August, of course, as it was. The season having picked up late after the first lockdown. Arteta won the FA Cup in 2014 as Arsenal's captain as well. Got a medal the next year, though he was injured. Here's Cedric now. Nicola Pepe getting onto the pass from Pablo Mari. Looks for an opening, again can't find a way through. An important block made at the back for Newcastle. I think it was by Matt Ritchie actually on this occasion. Yes, it was.
It was Ritchie.
Nearly chopped him in half, didn't it, that shot?
Yeah, it was a brilliant block. Did exactly what he loves doing, coming inside onto that left foot. Kieran Clark couldn't stop him or dumb it, but Ritchie threw himself in the way. Got a really important block, because that could have been heading straight just inside that far post, and it had a bit of pace on it. Would have been tough for Dubravka to react.
Just taking the wind from his sails for a moment or two. Nicola Pepe denied once again. He scored the opening goal for Arsenal in last season's quarter-final win at Sheffield United. That went to the wire, that game at Bramall Lane. Danny Ceballos with the winner right at the end of the match.
I remember that game. Yep. Sheffield United played quite well actually and had a couple of good chances towards the end, put a bit of pressure onto Arsenal, but such as Arsenal's run in the FA Cup, they came out winners.
Here's Bernd Leno, who didn't play in the final last season. It was Emi Martinez, who's doing so well at Aston Villa now. He was playing then. Leno was injured in the latter stages of the Premier League season, injured his knee in a match at Brighton. I think it was a second game back, first or second game back in the lockdown.
With the challenge with Emile Smith Rowe, which didn't go down particularly well.
No, and although it did keep him out, I think for about 11 matches, it wasn't as bad as was feared at the time. So, but he's very much the number one. Mikel Arteta going with him this season, and Martinez wanting first team football, having done so well for Arsenal actually in the back end of last season, that he's blossoming at Aston Villa and really enjoying himself now. This is Granit Xhaka, last minute of the opening 15 of extra time, and these two teams still standing toe to toe in the middle of the ring, as it were, without anyone landing a knockout blow.
See Clark come through the back of Pepe. He gets a little bit of the ball, but you cannot go through the back of a player, make contact with them first and then win the ball. It's always going to be a foul, and he's got a little bit of defending to do here before this half time of extra time comes round.
Bukayo Saka is the player with the ball at his feet. Last knockings of the opening period of extra time. Now, what's Saka got up one of those long sleeves of his here? He's looking for David Luiz, but it was a pretty straightforward header for Andy Carroll. And it remains goalless between these two, and nobody can find a way through. Carroll has had the best chances of the match, and the frustration starts to mount for Arsenal. Carroll tested David Luiz a couple of times early in that first period of extra time, but Steve Bruce and his team are still right in this FA Cup tie against the holders.
Well, they're sitting right where they would probably want to be at this moment, hanging in there. The game plan's being executed well. They've sat quite deep, but they've had the better chances and really could have possibly won this tie already.
Well, no wonder Steve Bruce is looking quite chirpy down there on the touchline as he talks to his players. They've come this far. They'll know they've got a decent chance, but it's been a frustrating match from Arsenal's point of view so far, hasn't it? Mikel Arteta not slow in making his points to the team.
Pay attention to the detail, guys. We gotta win the game. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Keep strong. Keep strong. Come on.
It was like being in the corner between rounds there, wasn't it, at the fight, just trying to hear what the trainer was saying to the fighters.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure the players heard, and I think Mikel Arteta's body language and gesturing says a lot as well. He wants more intensity in the players. He wants to win this game.
Well, here comes Alex Lacazette now, who is replacing Nicola Pepe for what remains of this match. And Lacazette, who has had a tough spell this season for a while, he looked really off his game, but 4 goals in his last 3 Premier League appearances, including 2 in the last game against West Brom. And Andy Carroll is coming off for Newcastle as well. Carroll had a couple of really good chances, and Dwight Gale on to replace him. Now, Dwight Gale has missed much of the season so far with a knee injury. He's made 4 appearances before today in the Premier League this season, all of them off the bench. all of them in December, and he scored the winner the last time they won against West Bromwich Albion. So Dwight Gale on for Newcastle as well. So both teams with fresh attacking legs on the pitch.
Yeah, it makes a big change to Newcastle as well, to lose that aerial threat, which I think has been useful in this game. Andy Carroll's provided a really good defensive option for Newcastle in set plays as well. But they can't hit any real long balls up to Dwight Gale. It's going to have to be played along the floor a little bit or in behind.
Tierney finding Aubameyang. Tierney there in support once more. Gets a second chance. Does it take a deflection? No, it's going to be a goal kick.
He's put a lot into this game, hasn't he, Kieran Tierney? A lot of energy, a lot of running. He wants it in behind again. He tries to get that little half a yard to get the cross in, and Yedlin just gets back to put him off from his right foot effort.
He looks tired but willing.
Yeah, it looks very tired, and I think that'll be a concern for Mikel Arteta. He'll be looking at his players thinking, well, we've got games coming up. It's not ideal to be pushing yourself this hard at this stage in the season. But this game's really important for Arsenal to continue in this cup, and I'm sure they'll give everything they can.
Yeah, those 3 wins in a row will come in handy. Have come at just the right time, haven't they? In terms of Arsenal's season and the pressure surrounding Mikel Arteta.
Oh, it was looking really bad at one stage, wasn't it? They just didn't seem to be able to look like a team that could win a game. And then, like you say, 3 really strong performances and good wins in a row. Changes everything.
Back with Pablo Mari now and Bernd Leno. Leno with a vital save in injury time or added time at the end of the regulation 90. Keep the holders in the cup. Well, Dwight Gale's a handy player though to bring off the bench. He certainly knows where the goal is. As you say, different kind of threat to Andy Carroll.
He's definitely got that knack in front of the goal, doesn't he? He's a bit of a goal poacher, you'd have to describe him as.
Here's Granit Xhaka. Going along to Aubameyang. Lacazette just checks back. And the pass is a little bit loose, and then he dives in. He wants a free kick, but he won't get it. Ritchie back with Clark, under pressure from Saka. Working hard, trying to force an error. Time now for Kieran Tierney. Cedric into Bukayo Saka. Dummett tries to hold him up. Saka still going. Deflection coming off Longstaff. Smith Rowe steps in. Saka with a little flick up towards Lacazette. Emile Smith Rowe here for Arsenal. And finally someone scored. And it's Emile Smith Rowe for Arsenal, who breaks the deadlock in the second period of extra time. Isaac Hayden stays on the ground as one of Arsenal's brightest young talents puts them ahead, and Smith Rowe's emotions have been on a real roller coaster in the last 20 minutes or so, because just before the end of the game he thought he'd been sent off for a challenge which was overturned on review by the referee, still on the pitch, and now he makes what could be the most decisive contribution of the whole game.
That is a lovely strike as well. Really is a beautifully controlled right-footed effort. Takes the ball on his chest. He goes a little bit wide. It's all about that bit of focus, and look how he zips the ball across the turf, off the post and into the net. Absolutely delighted. Newcastle will be so disappointed. I think it was Kieran Clark, didn't deal with the ball, had a heavy touch, gave possession away. But that is the type of quality we've been lacking so far in this game, and I'm glad to see Emile Smith Rowe pop up with it.
Yeah, it was a good strike from the 20-year-old who scored against Rapid Vienna earlier in the season in the group stage of the Europa League. And also good to see Isaac Hayden getting to his feet, albeit rather gingerly. But Smith Rowe, a player who benefited from loan spells elsewhere, and that looked painful there on the right leg as Lacazette inadvertently came clattering down on it, but Smith Rowe with a fine finish for Arsenal.
Played his part in that goal as well, Lacazette.
Yeah.
It's a clever little header just to see Smith Rowe just got enough contact on it to glance it into his path.
They've used 5 substitutes, haven't they, Newcastle, so they need Hayden to come back on, which is what he is doing. Don't really have any other options. So of course you can in extra time usually use another one.
Yeah.
Forward up towards Smith Rowe once again.
Can Newcastle change their attack, their approach here? As Kieran Clark made that mistake for the goal, didn't deal with the ball, had an opportunity to clear his lines but tried to play out and had a heavy touch and got caught on it. It's really cost Newcastle. They're looking pretty solid up till then.
Yedlin's crossfield ball cut out by Saka. Dummett sends it forward. Here's Ritchie now, sending it forward towards Gale, who has Cedric for company. It's going to be a Newcastle throw. Well, they've got less than 10 minutes to try to get back in the match here. And force penalty kicks. They've been in it for so long, they'll be ruining a couple of missed opportunities as well. They had the biggest chances of the game before extra time. Two of them falling to Andy Carroll in the second half. The first he put just wide of the post, the second was saved by a strong left hand from Bernd Leno. Louise sends it to Lacazette. Almost put Saka away. Tierney. Pablo Marie. Tierney will have to chase. Elliot Anderson losing out. Round from Ritchie. Andy Carroll there just reflecting on what might have been. A bit more fortune. Could easily have been the hero for Newcastle today.
You did have a feeling that the Arsenal substitutes were going to play a big part in this game. They certainly have, with Smith Rowe and Lacazette combining for the goal.
Here's Anderson, showing good strength and composure under pressure. Battling away with El Neni and what looked like half of Arsenal's team as Newcastle try to fashion an equalise and create an opportunity. Hendrick with a little flick, and Anderson will chase, and he can't find a way past Mohamed El Neni, who safely sees it behind for a goal kick. And Arsenal 6 minutes away from the 4th round of the FA Cup. There's the man who's scored the only goal of the match.
There's that opportunity for Kieran Clark just to deal with the ball and doesn't.
Missed control, wasn't it?
Yeah, pays the ultimate price.
Well, it was a 1-0 scoreline in the 3rd round last year for Arsenal, that time against Leeds United, who were then in the Championship. Is 1-0 going to be enough to get them into the 4th round this year? Lacazette. Pablo Marie steps in and Tierney stretches he might, unable to keep it in. 5 minutes for Newcastle to dig deep and try and come up with a moment of inspiration. Yedlin with the throw. Longstaff, it's a little aimless across midfield, and Arsenal able to collect again. El Neni and Cedric with Louise. It's Dwight Gale closing down. Headed by Dummett. Arsenal inching towards the fourth round in what has been a very tight encounter. Not a vintage FA Cup tie by any stretch of the imagination, but should Emile Smith Rowe's goal be enough, Arsenal won't be worrying about that. Their name will be in the hat. Time rather against Newcastle at the moment as Saka sends it away to Aubameyang. Blocked by DeAndre Yedlin. Here's Tierney now. Xhaka, good running by Tierney again, into Aubameyang. It's goal number 2, and the man who scored both goals in the FA Cup final last season when they beat Chelsea by 2-1, scores Arsenal's second tonight. And after a long, tight tussle in North London, it is Arsenal who will prevail and have their name in the hat for the fourth round of the FA Cup. And for Newcastle, it will be an early exit from the competition, which in recent years has been something of a common occurrence.
Well, I'm sure Mikel Arteta and Aubameyang's teammates will be delighted that he's got on the score sheet today. I think it was a really important thing for him, having playing down the middle, but he's got a lot to thank Kieran Tierney for, and Granit Xhaka for a lovely pass. But Tierney has been down this left-hand side, he's been a constant threat all evening, and he gets his reward. It's a lovely piece of play, great ball, fizzed across the face of the box, really picks him out, and that's a really casual finish, very simple from Aubameyang. He's in the right area at the right time. Just shows you what it means to Arteta just to get him firing and on the score sheet.
Yeah, because he's not been firing anything like up to his usual standard this season. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, he is a wonderful striker at his best, and maybe that will just get him going again. But Tierney has been a superb outlet on the left-hand side, very, very productive in this match once again. This is Yedlin now for Newcastle, who were in the cup tie for so long and had the opportunities to snatch victory. Anderson sending it forward. Murphy now into the penalty area, Gale going for it. Half-hearted appeal that he was impeded by Cedric. Nothing more than that.
Just does enough, doesn't he? I'm not sure if he makes any contact with the ball, Cedric, that is the one thing. But he certainly just made contact with Gale to put him off getting any kind of strike on goal. It's quite a nice ball, fed in there. Just comes across, it's decent play from Cedric just to get his arm across and get a block in almost. Gets a bit of a knock for his troubles.
Well, time almost up, I think, as Cedric receives some treatment here after his awkward fall. But Arsenal breaking open the cup tie in the second period of extra time. Newcastle's players will be thinking of what might have been, though, won't they, when on the journey home?
I'm sure they will. I'm sure within the 90 minutes, this man could have potentially won the game for Newcastle, and should have done. And Steve Bruce, even though they haven't been much of a goal threat or played particularly well, will be looking at those opportunities thinking, tactically perhaps we did set up well and could and should have walked away with a win.
2 wins out of 30 as a manager against Arsenal now for Steve Bruce, but his team were right in this cup tie for a long time, till the last few minutes. Back to the Premier League though, this midweek with a match against Sheffield United. Arsenal hosting Crystal Palace. Cedric wandering along the touchline. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who might have hoped to get a game today, will come on for the last few seconds of this cup tie. Maitland-Niles has played a little bit more in the Premier League than he had done earlier in the campaign recently. Here's Emile Smith Rowe. Cedric Suarez, the player, just wandering off, having been injured moments ago. Granit Xhaka. So I don't think we're going to need my penalty sheet after all. Hastily drawn up. Here comes Lacazette into the box. Is it going to be 3? No, but it was a tasty rising drive nonetheless.
Lovely play from Tierney again. Wraps in the first time pass into Lacazette. Just here, this little one-touch pass there is lovely. Gives him the opportunity to get forwards. Shifts it onto his left foot, but can't get over top of the ball to hit the target.
Well, we're in the last minute of added time at the end of extra time in this Emirates FA Cup third round tie. The holders, Arsenal, on the brink of going through, as Matt Ritchie brings it forward here for Newcastle. Looking for Anderson, who's battled well in the relatively brief time he's been on the pitch. David Luiz. Last few seconds of the game. Cut out by Yedlin. Newcastle still battling away. In towards Anderson. Here's Murphy. Support from Yedlin if required on the near side. Cross doesn't find Elliot Anderson. Maitland-Niles going for it. Ritchie collecting. Anderson finding Jeff Hendrick. Nowhere really for him to go. Brings it away, and there goes the final whistle, and the FA Cup holders are through. They've passed the first hurdle through to the fourth round, but they took a while getting there. Emile Smith Rowe scoring in the 18th minute of extra time, squeezing the ball in off the far post, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang putting the tie beyond doubt 4 minutes from the end of extra time. Newcastle had their chances. Andy Carroll had a couple of good ones. He didn't take either of them, and in the end they paid the price. Mikel Arteta's team laboured for long periods. They lacked inspiration, but there was plenty of perspiration despite the cold temperatures, and in the end Arsenal prevail and they go through. The final score at the Emirates Stadium in North London: Arsenal 2, Newcastle United 0.